Hey everyone, and welcome. Let's talk about something that's often the biggest blind spot in a company's security. I'm talking about the front desk. Today, we're going to dive into how a system like SFDP can take your visitor management process from, just a simple logbook and maybe your weakest link and turn it into a real strategic asset.
All right, here's what we've got on tap. We'll kick things off with the hidden risks, then jump into the SFDP solution itself. After that, we'll cover the big payoff for governance and security, and we'll wrap up by looking at what really makes SFDP stand out from the crowd.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about risk. And look, I'm not talking about some complex cyber attack here. I'm talking about vulnerabilities that are, hiding in plain sight, right there at your front desk every single day.
So I want you to honestly ask yourself this question. As we go through some of the usual problems on the next slide, just think about your own organization. Is your visitor process a genuine strength, or is it maybe, just maybe, your weakest link?
Yeah, I'm guessing this looks painfully familiar to a lot of you, right? You've got that classic paper register, full of scribbles you can't even read. A visitor's purpose isn't really verified, and approvals, that's usually just a quick phone call that nobody logs anywhere. The real headache, especially for anyone in a decision-making role, comes when it's audit time. Or worse, if there's an incident. Suddenly you realize you have zero reliable data to fall back on. And let's be clear, these aren't just little annoyances. Every single one of these points is a serious security and compliance hole.
All right, so we've laid out the problems, and they're very real. Now let's shift gears and look at the solution. We're talking about something that brings control, clarity, and compliance right to your front door. Now this definition here is really key. SFDP stands for Security First Digital Platform, and it's so much more than just swapping out a paper book for an iPad. It's built from the ground up as a governance-first system. And what does that mean? It means things like accountability and being ready for an audit aren't just features you tack on at the end, they are baked into the very DNA of the process. And you can really see that philosophy in action right here. This is how it works. That messy, informal process we talked about, it gets transformed into this smooth, four-step digital journey. It starts with pre-approval, where you can even issue a QR code pass. Then there's the digital check-in. The host gets an instant notification. And finally, a digital checkout logs the exit time automatically. Every single step is structured, it's documented, and it's controlled.
Okay, so if you're responsible for security or operations, these features are really the heart of the whole system. Let's break it down. First, you get total capture of visitor identity and purpose. No more anonymous entries, period. You can handle expected visitors with pre-approved entry, which, by the way, not only beefs up security, but also makes for a way better experience for your guests. And this last one is huge. Every single visitor is tagged to a host or department. That establishes crystal clear accountability.
This is where things get really powerful. This is where you go from being reactive to proactive. Instead of a dusty old logbook, your security and admin teams get a live dashboard. They can see, in real time, who is on the premises. They can analyze peak visitor traffic to maybe adjust staffing. They can see which departments are getting the most foot traffic. This isn't just data, it's actionable intelligence.
And the value here isn't just about security. SFDP can even integrate feedback tools like the Net Promoter Score, or NPS. So what does that do? It means you stop assuming your visitors are having a good experience and you start actually measuring it. You can track satisfaction, find areas where you can improve. You're turning a gut feeling into a real, measurable KPI. Okay, so we've seen what it is and how it works. Now for the most important part, the why. Let's talk about the concrete payoff for your organization, specifically when it comes to governance and security. Just look at the difference here. The contrast is night and day. On the before side, you've got the absolute headache of manual audits. In the after, you've got instant downloadable reports. You're swapping out those unreliable, illegible logs for verifiable, time-stamped records. Informal approvals become totally traceable. This isn't just a simple upgrade, folks. It's a total shift from a position of risk to one of real, confident control.
When you boil it all down, the benefits really stack up in three key areas. First, governance and compliance get a massive boost. Second, your physical security is just plain stronger. And third, you make your operations way more efficient by automating a slow, clunky process. It really is a clear win-win-win.
Okay, let's get into our final section, and this is a really important one. We need to talk about what makes SFDP different. I mean, the market is flooded with basic check-in apps, right? So for any decision maker, it's absolutely critical to understand why a platform like this is a strategic choice, not just another app.
And honestly, this chart breaks it down perfectly. Your typical standalone app, its main focus is just a basic check-in. SFDP's primary focus is governance and being audit-ready. A standalone app gives you another silo of data that doesn't talk to anything else. SFDP is designed to integrate with your bigger operational and security workflows. And that right there is the key difference. It's about investing in a true security platform, not just buying a single-purpose tool.
I think this quote really hits the nail on the head. It's not just about keeping a list of who came in. It's about making sure every single visitor interaction is secure, structured, and traceable. And when you do that, you're not just improving one little process, you're strengthening your entire company's security and operational discipline.
And that really brings us full circle, back to this one critical question. With a system like SFDP in place, your front desk is no longer just a reception area. It becomes your first active line of defense. So, you have to ask yourself, is your front desk ready to step into that role?
So, if you are thinking about how you can get your front desk ready for that role, the best next step is to see exactly how a platform like SDP could work for your specific needs. All the details on how to do that are right there on your screen. Thanks so much for watching.